an unusual morning. At the break of dawn, before sunlight had a chance to stream through the window, Jack jolted awake. He hurried upstairs, calling softly, "Mom? Mom." The house was silent, save for the gentle whisper of wind slipping through the doorframe. Strangely, his mother was nowhere to be found. He grabbed his phone and dialed her number, his voice tinged with surprise. "Mom, where did you go so early?" His mother answered, sounding slightly flustered. "I just had a few errands to run. I've got a class reunion this afternoon too, so I'll be home late." Though curiosity tugged at him, Jack wished her a nice day and pushed the thought aside. He didn't realize that her absence would mark the beginning of a fateful encounter. An urgent request. Just as Jack was about to step out, a small car pulled up in front of his house. Mr. Tu, the village chairman, and a woman he didn't recognize stepped out. Jack, puzzled, invited them in. "What brings you both here this early?" he asked. Mr. Tu's expression was serious. "Actually, we've come to ask for your help." He spoke of the recent floods that had washed away several bridges, of villagers and children forced to cross makeshift, dangerous paths daily. "We know you're a talented engineer, and you've worked on many important projects. The whole commune and local government trust you," Mr. Tu said. "The authorities have allocated funds, but what we lack now is someone skilled enough to oversee the construction." Jack listened, a complicated wave of emotion stirring in his chest. He had given up engineering after a personal tragedy and never imagined returning to it. "I've been out of the field for a few months now," he said hesitantly. "I didn't think I'd ever go back." Between legacy and responsibility, Mr. Tu and the woman continued to persuade him, gently but firmly. They reminded him of his grandfather's wishes, of Jack's kind heart, and his recent pursuit of traditional medicine to serve the community. "We know you're someone with both talent and integrity," Mr. Tu said. "But right now, people need a bridge to survive. This isn't just a job." The farm buzzed with life under the golden afternoon sun, a haven of labor and love where Tien and her father worked side by side. The air was thick with the scent of ripe bananas and freshly turned earth. Tien, her hands deft, sliced through a heavy bunch of golden fruit, her smile bright as she called to her father. "These are perfect, Dad. You were right. They'll fetch a good price this season." Her father, weathered but strong, chopped bamboo with steady swings, his voice warm with pride. "Rare crop this year, my girl. We'll make enough to fix the barn." He paused, wiping sweat from his brow, as Tien swept the chicken coop, her laughter mingling with the clucks of contented hens. Together, they repaired the coop's door and patched the pigeon loft, their shared toil a quiet symphony of family. As her father headed inside to wash up, Tien stirred a pot of rice, the steam curling like a promise of comfort. Her phone buzzed, and Jack's voice crackled through, warm and eager. "Tien, bring your dad over for dinner tonight. I've got everything ready. Come celebrate with me." Her father, toweling off, overheard and grinned. "Tell Jack we're in. I'll wash up first, then you, and we'll head over." Tien's heart lifted, the invitation a spark of joy in their simple day. "We'll be ready, Jack," she said, her voice soft with affection. "You don't know how much this means." Jack hung up, his heart swelling with anticipation. Hosting Tien's father felt like a step toward their future, a chance to prove his love and build a bond with the man who'd raised her. He bustled in his kitchen, chopping vegetables and marinating chicken, each task a vow to create a night of warmth for the woman he adored and her father. But beneath his joy, a shadow lingered. His mother's cryptic absence gnawed at him, her vague excuses hinting at a secret she wasn't ready to share. He'd found a faded letter in her room, tucked in a drawer, addressed to a man named Min, Tien's biological father, perhaps? The locket's crest, identical to one his mother once wore, deepened the mystery. Was she investigating Tien's past without him? At the farm, Tien and her father prepared to leave, their spirits high. Tien clutched a basket of fresh eggs, a small gift for Jack. "Let's bring these, Dad," she said, her voice bright. "Our hens laid plenty this week." Her father nodded, his eyes warm. "Good idea, girl." Shows we're grateful. Jack arrived to pick them up, his motorbike humming through the dusk. Seeing Tien with the eggs, he chuckled, waving a hand. "You didn't have to, love. I've got enough food for a feast." But her insistence warmed his heart, and he accepted the basket, their hands brushing in a fleeting moment of connection. As they rode through the darkening village, Jack noted the unlit path. "This road's too dim," he murmured, his mind already planning. "I'll install lights here for you, Tien. Make it safe." The small gesture spoke volumes, his love woven into every thought. Across town, Mrs. Twee and Tien prowled the shadows, their search for the lost envelope, containing Tien's birth parents' photo and address, growing desperate. "We need that leverage," Mrs. Twee hissed, her voice venomous. "Jack's distracted with his little dinner party. Perfect time to strike." Tien's eyes gleamed with malice. "If we don't find it, we'll fake it. They'll pay to keep Tien's past buried." Their greed blinded them to the locket's crest, a twin to their lost clue, a key that could unravel their schemes and lead to a truth far more dangerous than they imagined. In Jack's modest kitchen, the air thrummed with warmth, the sizzle of frying fish and the aroma of roasted chicken weaving a tapestry of care. Jack moved with purpose, chopping herbs and seasoning dishes, each task a silent vow to Tien. "When we're married," he murmured to himself, a smile tugging at his lips, "I'll cook for you every day." The table groaned under a spread of her favorites: crispy fish, golden tofu, and tender chicken, each dish a testament to his devotion. At the farm, Tien and her father readied themselves, their spirits buoyed by Jack's invitation. Tien clutched a basket of fresh eggs, her voice bright. "Dad, let's bring these for Jack. Our hens laid so many." Her father nodded, his eyes twinkling with pride. "Good thinking, girl. Shows our heart." They tidied up, Tien's hands lingering on the locket at her neck, its crest a faint echo of a past she couldn't grasp. Jack arrived on his motorbike, the dusk casting long shadows. Seeing Tien's basket, he laughed softly. "You didn't have to, love. I've got a feast waiting." But her stubborn smile melted his resolve, and he took the eggs, their fingers brushing in a moment that sparked warmth in his chest. "You're too good to me," he said, his voice low with affection. On the ride to his home, the unlit road sparked a quiet vow in Jack's mind. "This path's too dark for you," he thought, glancing at Tien behind him. "I'll light it up, make it safe for you always." The gesture, small but profound, was a thread in the tapestry of his love. They stepped into Jack's home, the table a vibrant display of his efforts. Tien's father, Mr. Hung, let out a hearty laugh. "Boy, you've outdone yourself. This spread could feed the whole village." Jack grinned, his nerves easing. "First time hosting you, sir. Had to make it special." The meal unfolded in a glow of laughter and clinking glasses, Jack and Mr. Hung sharing a cold beer. "Since you came to visit Tien, I've been wanting to have you over, Jack said, his voice warm. Tonight's the night. Mr. Hung's eyes crinkled with warmth. You're a good man, Jack. Tien's lucky. Conversation flowed, weaving stories of the farm, ripe bananas, stubborn chickens, and dreams of expansion. Jack gushed over Tien, his eyes soft. Sir, I already see her as my wife. I hope to be your son-in-law someday. Mr. Hung's smile was broad, his voice thick with emotion. You've got my blessing, son. I see how you love her. Tien blushed, her hand brushing the locket, its crest catching Jack's eye. A chill ran through him. His mother's absence, the faded letter mentioning Min, and now this locket. Was she secretly digging into Tien's past, chasing her biological father? He pushed the thought aside, focusing on the warmth of the moment, but it lingered like a shadow. As night deepened, the meal wound down, laughter echoing in the cozy room. Jack offered them a place to stay. Sleep here tonight. It's late. But Mr. Hung shook his head, his voice firm but kind. Got to check on the farm, son. But we'll be back. Tien lingered, her eyes meeting Jack's. Thank you, she whispered, her voice soft. This means everything. Jack's heart swelled, his hand squeezing hers. I'll bring you home, Tien. We'll build that life together. But as he saw them off, a crumpled paper caught his eye in the yard, a fragment of the lost envelope, bearing the name Min and a partial address. His breath caught, the locket's crest flashing in his mind. Was this the clue to Tien's father? And why was his mother hiding her own search? Across town, Mrs. Twee and Chien plotted in the shadows, their desperation peaking. That envelope's our key, Mrs. Twee hissed. Jack's playing house. We'll make him pay to keep Tien's secrets buried. Their greed blinded them to the locket's power, a truth that could shatter their plans and ignite a reckoning. Jack stood alone, the paper in his hand, his heart a battlefield of love and suspicion. I'll find the truth, Tien, he vowed, his voice a whisper in the night. For you, for us.
Thực hành và ngồi thiền để giảm căng thẳng, cải thiện tâm trạng, viết nhật ký và để thể hiện sự suy nghĩ và cảm xúc của mình. Câu chuyện cuộc sống là một chủ đề rất rộng lớn và đa dạng, bao gồm nhiều khía cạnh khác nhau của cuộc sống con người. Dưới đây là một số ý tưởng về câu chuyện cuộc sống, câu chuyện về sự kiên trì. Một người trẻ tuổi từ một gia đình nghèo, nhưng với sự kiên nhẫn nỗ lực, họ đã vượt qua khó khăn để đạt được những thành công trong sự nghiệp của cuộc sống. Câu chuyện về tình yêu và mất mát. Một cặp vợ chồng đã yêu nhau từ thuở học trò, nhưng sau khi nhiều năm bên nhau, họ đã phải đối mặt với nhiều sự mất mát của một người bệnh nặng. Câu chuyện về sự tự lực. Một người phụ nữ đã từng bị bạo hành trong một gia đình, nhưng sự tự lực và quyết tâm, cô đã thoát khỏi tình trạng và xây dựng một cuộc sống